Hey hockey friends, Intitled Goalie here. Are you a beginner inline goalie or possibly an old school inline goalie switching from the old school pads to the new butterfly pads and trying to figure out how all that works? Or maybe you just want to learn how to do some better butterfly slides with RollerFlies? Well, this video is for you. Alright everybody, I had a request from Charles Wenger. He's a YouTube goalie out there and he wanted to kind of understand how to do some better butterfly slides with RollerFlies. Also had another goalie named Chris. He's a new guy in our 40 and over league, and he's trying to figure out how to put the pads on the right way so they don't mis-rotate. You know, these butterfly pads can be a lot different than the old school pads if you're coming off those old school pads. Alright, first thing you want to do is get proper mechanics in your butterfly. Hey, I just want to mention, I'm not a goalie coach in any way. I'm just a guy who watches a lot of YouTube and picks things up from other goalies. A lot of trial and error. So I've been doing inline goalie for about maybe almost 10 years now, for crying out loud. But anyway, I just picked everything up on the way. So that's how you can do it. Let's touch on the mechanics of the butterfly itself, especially for you beginners out there. So what you want to do when you're in your stance, you want to have your legs kind of far apart and already sort of in this butterfly position. Your knees are coming together here. And you're going to drive your knees down. You definitely don't want to hop. You don't want to do this. Jumping up, it opens up your 5-hole even more for a split second. Pucks will go in. So don't jump. Drive your knees down. So you got your stick out, your hands ready, drive them down. And notice how my head pretty much stayed in the same place. Your head really shouldn't move a whole lot when you're dropping into your butterfly because you're already there. You're just driving your feet down. Now if you notice in my butterfly, there's a gap here. A lot of pucks go in there, so you shooters pay no attention to this video. But when you get super good and flexible, you'll cover that 5-hole up, you know, like that. And if your knees come down together, which is really what I did wrong, when I went down, my knees were apart like this. Come down with your knees together, and then newer pads, they actually have all this garbage in here, your knee landing. That'll stop pucks too. That's like a backup saver. Alright. Okay, so to recap the keys, you gotta have a wide, low stance, square up to the shooter, drive those knees down, keep them together, keep your toes out, and then also make sure your stick covers the 5-hole, your hands are slightly forward, you gotta keep your elbows in, stay big with your chest up, and your head stays at the same level. So, how to land on the knee stack. Chris actually asked me this, the goalie from the 40 and over league, because he's having trouble where he's going down and he's landing on his pads. He's not getting the rotation he needs. So that's totally because of the strapping, I think. One thing about guys coming off the old school pads is that they're strapped to your leg really tight and they don't rotate it off. And these new butterfly pads are designed to rotate when you go down. So when you go down on your butterfly, they flip up this way and the pad's facing out so the pucks can come off here and shoot off for rebounds wherever you want to control them. Where the old school pads, if you try to go down like that, you pretty much would have gone down like this. You never want to go down on butterfly pads on the pad like this. Who knew it was going to be hot in August in goalie gear? Whew. Okay, the secret to not coming down on your pads, especially if you're new to this, is how you lace them. So you lace them tighter at the bottom and looser at the top. And that way they rotate as you turn your ankle. You want to make sure when you're down, your toes are pointing out. They're not pointing down, they're pointing out. I've seen a lot of goalies go down with their toes pointed down. You'll end up coming down like this. And that's not the best, that's not very good because there's lots of places for the puck to get through. You can go right under your pad sometimes, especially like by the foot. The puck can go in there. You don't want to go down on your pads. Okay goalies, so on this specific type of a G4 pad, a lot of pads have this new Velcro stuff on here, so it's a very simple attachment. So on mine, I just kind of go about that tight. It's not real tight right here. It's pretty loose. And then you can do two things with this strap. You can put it here, and then your pad's really, really loose. Or I actually put it here, and I keep it loose, but it's not, I mean, you can see how loose that pad is, but it's not quite as loose as the other way. I like it this way, but you can experiment with how it feels. But you definitely want this loose so that when you go down, your pad doesn't go down like that. When you go down, it automatically rotates up. Now, if you can see my knee, I'm driving that knee right down onto that knee stack. So I'll show you. See, you drive it right down onto the knee stack. And if you got the right size pads, your knee should land right in the middle of that knee stack. Alright, we're going to focus on the bottom strap. The bottom strap is key. It's the first strap I put on. So I put it through this space in my skate, right here, and I got it pretty tight. So the way this particular pad works, it clips into this hook right here. I do the back one. There's a front one, I do the back one because it's where the back of the skate is in the heel. So anyway, you go through that little spot, slide it through there, and then get it adjusted so it's nice and tight, and it clips right in there. That's how you do it on these newer, kind of more Velcro-y kind of pads. Okay, we got a lot of ambulances going by my house because we live pretty close to a hospital. Okay, so if you got an older butterfly pad like this, it's got the knee stack. You know, it's not as good of a knee stack as the newer ones, but it's got all these leather straps. So it's really important the different tension that you get on these different straps when you put these on. So let me show you how I would do it with these older pads. So put your knee right where it goes, in there, and then you put this inside part like that. This should not be very tight. Don't do this very tight. Should be comfortable in there, but not tight. And then start with your bottom strap. This one's the key to the whole thing. This strap right here, bottom strap. For this kind of strap, I usually go through the bottom of the skate like that, but you can put it through here. You know, wherever is comfortable on your particular skate, you gotta try it. You gotta watch out for your wheels. Make sure they're not gonna hit your strap. So you put it through here, and I get it as tight as I can. And then I always get my straps out of the way so you don't roll over them during a game. Pop them through there a couple times. That keeps them out of the way, and that won't come undone. So that's nice and tight. This one tight. This one medium tight. So a little bit tighter than the top one's going to be, but this is not tight, you know. That allows the pad to rotate. And then this one, nice and loose. I mean, you're basically just putting that one on there so the pad doesn't come off during the game. So I put it like 7 on this pad. It's got numbers on the slots, which is kind of nice because I can remember which one to go. But 7. And you'll see that's very loose. And then finally, there's another Velcro strap on these. I just put it right here. It barely does anything. It just kind of keeps the pad on your leg when you rotate it. So as you can see, you come down the same way on the knee stack. Now this is my old set of pads, so it's a little too small for me. You can see how my knee is actually not in the center of that knee stack. That's how I knew this was the wrong size for me. So, but anyway, they worked for years and they were fine, but I would recommend definitely get the right size pads. Alright, come down, knees together. Seals up a butterfly pretty good. You're on your knee stack. But notice how the pad is facing up and not down. That's the key. If your pad ever goes down like this, you did something wrong with your straps, try it again. Loose up here, tight down there. That's how I do it. Alright, this is specific to the RollerFlies. Here's a couple things that I practice just to try to get better at using them. And I was terrible at this when I first started doing it, and I'm still not very good at it, but it's just something that I work on to try and get better and better. So, first thing is just to do the push itself. So, it doesn't work anything like ice. And if you don't get the right push, you're not going to get a good slide. So, you got to really drive your push foot into the ground at kind of a strange angle. If you're used to playing ice hockey, it's a lot different. So, instead of, a butterfly push where you kind of got your leg extended, and how much your leg is extended doesn't matter. You can have it like this, you get a lot of support like that, and you can push this way and then just extend later. And then as you get better, you can get your leg out there when you're doing your push. So, but anyway, let's focus on the actual butterfly push. So when you're in the butterfly on ice, you can have your skate at about this angle, and you can kind of push from there. But if you try and do that on this floor, you're going to slide out. You're not going to get anywhere. So you've got to get up there and then push. It's all about this angle, This foot has to be planted hard almost straight up and down. Not quite, but almost. So you get a really good jab onto the floor, and that gives you a push. Yeah, that's one. Alright, so keep practicing those. Alright, and same thing on recoveries. Like on recoveries, I go across, and then you got to get up. Facing this way, pass goes that way. Alright, let's say you're watching the puck out here. Guy makes a quick pass. You play Phillips out there, you get up, get in position. Sliders, RollerFly sliders make all that easy. Alright, hockey friends, hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. See you in the next video.